Hello guys, welcome to Sports Banner 38. I am Coach Carroll and we are beginning championship week in college football. This is one of my favorite weekends of the year. I love watching the championship games, but also even more to me, high school football state championship games are televised on TV in Tennessee, and I'm just as big of a high school football fan as I am college. I love high school football. I love being able to go to the games, experience it without breaking the bank. Very affordable, very good entertainment. I want to give a shout out to my school, Springfield High School. No, they're not in the state championship today, but they lost in the semifinals last week to Haywood County High School. Very good team. They actually lost the state championship game Thursday against one of the best teams in Tennessee in Greenville High School. So I want to give a shout out to all those teams involved in that scenario there. Springfield High School actually did make the state championship last year, but they lost to, again, Greenville, who basically just won their second state championship in the 4A division in Tennessee. So kudos to those guys. They won 30 games in a row. They went undefeated both years. Very, very good team. Very good quarterback who will be going to Army this next season, this next year. So, congrats to those guys. My hats are off. Very good teams. But like I said, I just want to give my school, Springfield High School, a shout out. They're doing good things, and I love it. It makes me proud to be a Springfield High School alum. I played football there, and we had success when I was there. And a guy I played with is actually the head coach now. So I'm very grateful for the success that team is having, and I feel like the coach at Springfield High School is doing an excellent job, and I feel like he will continue to do just that as we move forward. Anyway, I want to get to the championship games today. Of course, there was a game last night where Washington won the Pac-12 championship over Utah 10-3. Surprisingly enough, a very, very defensive game. Usually I expect more points in the Pac-12, but this game was a little bit different. Just 10-3, 10 points, 13 total scored in the whole game. That's especially for a championship game, that's not very usual. Now, moving on to some of the conference championships games today. Starting off first thing, we have Texas and Oklahoma in the Big 12 championship. This will be Oklahoma's only loss, and if they're able to avenge this loss and do so impressively, they will have an opportunity to get into the college football playoffs. So this is going to be a big game for Oklahoma. You got Kyler Murray really showing out at Oklahoma this year in place of Baker Mayfield. They may even be better offensively. The problem is they don't appear to be any better defensively, and if Oklahoma had a good defense, they'd probably be undefeated and a sure thing in the playoffs and have a very legitimate chance to win the playoffs. So I'm actually picking Oklahoma to avenge their loss. I feel like they're a better team than Texas from top to bottom, but I don't think it's going to be easy. I feel like Texas is going to push them, and Texas will not go down easy. So that's my pick. I'm not going to put scores. I'm just going to say Oklahoma. Memphis playing Central Florida. Central Florida without their quarterback. He was injured, had season-ending operation last week. So they had a backup come in, and the guy actually did a pretty good job. But it's hard to say how they're going to do. You lose your star quarterback, and then you go to the conference championship. I still think they can beat Memphis, but Memphis ain't going to be a pushover. They would have been a tough game whether their quarterback got hurt or not. So I'm still going to say Central Florida squeezes it out, but it's not going to be easy by any means whatsoever. Let's see. Then we go to Boise State and Fresno State for the MAC championship, I believe it is. And once again, we got another tough game. That should be a good game. I'm leaning towards Boise State just from street cred. I don't know much about either of these teams, but both are 10-2, so it should be an entertaining game. Clemson undefeated playing Pittsburgh for the ACC championship. This should be Clemson all the way, but if you remember correctly, a couple years ago, Pittsburgh did upset Clemson in the regular season before Clemson rebounded and went to the college football playoffs and beat Alabama in the championship. So, you know, Clemson should win, but hey, don't be surprised if Pittsburgh pulls the upset. Then we go to Ohio State versus Northwestern for the Big Ten championship. Now, this game holds importance because Ohio State don't only need to win, they need to win convincingly to get to the college football playoffs or to even have a shot. There's no guarantees they get in no matter what. But they defeated Wisconsin 59-0 a few years ago to get into the playoffs. Wisconsin was a better team than Northwestern. I don't feel like that same performance would justify them getting in because Northwestern lost 4 games. That Wisconsin team, I can't remember off the top of my head. I want to say 1 or 2 losses going into the Big Ten championship. But Ohio State needs to completely dominate, and the fact is Northwestern's defense is not bad, so they're gonna push them a little bit. And also, Ohio State's defense is not as good as that defense from a few years ago, and also without Bosa in there, it's not the same defense. Now, they did play better last week, but Michigan still scored 30-something points. So, Michigan's not very strong offensively. They're good enough offensively to win ball games because they got such a great defense, which did not show up last week, by the way. So, I believe Ohio State beats Northwestern. I just don't feel like it's as impressive of a win as they need it to be. So, I don't see them getting in the playoffs because I feel like Oklahoma is going to win. As long as Oklahoma wins, I feel like they, out of those 2 teams, are the team that would get in if it came down to those 2 teams. Now, another game with the final game I'm going to talk about is Alabama and Georgia. Georgia at 11-1, Alabama at 12-0. This also has playoff implications. If Alabama wins this game, then Georgia is 11-2. There's a lot of people out there who are saying that Georgia, even with 2 losses, should get in over both Ohio State and Oklahoma. I do not believe they will get in over Oklahoma with 2 losses. Now, I could be wrong. I don't know. The committee's job is to put the 4 best teams in, and this is what I don't like about the committee. This is what I don't like about this whole process. And people are like, well, it makes for better games, and you got the best 4 teams in. There's got to be an element of earning it to get in. Okay, you have to earn it. And, I want a strict guideline to get into the playoffs. I want 8 teams because I want the Power 5 champions to get in. Okay, the Power 5, and then have 3 at large. That way, if you got teams in the same conference who you feel are one of the 8 best teams in the country, they still have a chance to get into the playoffs, and you're not saying, well, you got a 7-win Big Ten champion or Big 12 champion in the playoffs, and you got this team in the SEC who's lost 1 or 2 games, and they're better than this team. Well, that team that lost 1 or 2 games can still get into the playoffs. Okay, so no matter what, you'll get the top 4 teams in regardless. If you go to 8, the top 4 teams are going to be in there. And if you miss as one of the top 4, then whatever. Then so what? You're just out of luck. That's just the way it works, or it should work, in my opinion. Anyway, I'm digressing. I want to get back to this game in particular. If Alabama beats Georgia, I feel like Oklahoma will get in. If Georgia wins, I feel like it's going to be Clemson, Notre Dame, Georgia, and Alabama. And it'll probably be in that order. And we'll get Clemson, Alabama, Georgia, Notre Dame matchup. If Alabama wins, then it's going to be Bama, Notre Dame, or Bama, Clemson, Notre Dame, and Oklahoma. That's what I think they're going to do. Could be wrong, but that's what I believe the committee would do. But as far as this game, I've been hearing a lot of the chatter on the sports media today. Nobody is giving Georgia a chance whatsoever. Now, I'm not saying I'm picking Georgia to win. I feel like they're a year away. I thought this year they'd be a lot better by the end of the season. I felt like they'd start a little slow because they did have to replace a lot of starters, especially on defense. But they've kind of progressed a little more slower than I expected they would. And after the end of the season, I still don't feel like they're quite where they needed to be. But to act like they absolutely have no shot whatsoever, which a lot of the sports media is doing, I feel like is a mistake. I feel like Georgia is talented enough to beat Alabama. The only issue is they're not quite developed enough. Okay, I feel like that's where the shortcoming is. They may need a little more developing. Now, on one day, I feel like they're good enough to beat them. They could beat them today. Now, I don't think they're going to. Don't get me wrong. I feel like Alabama should beat them, but due to inexperience more than anything. But I believe Georgia, they can play with Alabama, and I feel like they're going to keep this a fairly decent game. It'll be I feel like a 10 to 14 point game is my guess. Now, I could be completely wrong. Alabama could blow the doors off of them. It's possible. I don't feel like Georgia is in a position to blow the doors off of Alabama, but I feel like they could show up, they could play a good game, and if they keep it close in the fourth quarter, they have a very good opportunity to win. You got to look at the coaching. Of course, you got to give Alabama with Saban the edge on coaching no matter what, but Georgia does have a good coaching staff. There is no way they are not up for this game after losing to Alabama in the championship last year. So, going with Alabama, but closer than what most people think. So, with that said, that's all I got, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a comment, like, share, subscribe. Hit that subscribe button down at the bottom, and let me know what you think about my picks. Let me know what games are you excited about today, and all that good stuff, guys. And like I said, once again, like, share, hit the subscribe button down at the bottom, and that's all I got, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy the college football today, because we're going to be this is the last day for a little while, so you know, enjoy it. And tune in tomorrow, see where everybody's going. I'll do a video Monday on how everything shakes out, what bowl games I'm looking forward to, and all that good stuff. But that's all I got today, guys. This is Sports Banner 38. I am Coach Carroll, and we are out.